Thank you, and for your opening statement. As is customary, my colleagues and I would like to ask you some questions. Each senator will have 7 minutes to ask questions during this first round. If we need an additional round, that will be 5 minutes. Before I ask my questions, I'd like to add a number of letters in support of Ms. Rollins' nomination into the record. In particular, I would like to highlight one letter signed by the Farm Bureau, the Farmers Union, the National Council of Farmers Cooperatives, and more than 400 other agricultural organizations supporting Ms. Rollins' nomination. Without objection, so ordered. In your written statement, again, you alluded to, and the testimony that you just provided, you talked about your focus, some of the things you want to. Can you expand on that a little bit more? The first 100 days, what can we expect?
I think the first 100 days, sir, if I am so fortunate to be confirmed, will be a fast and furious effort to ensure that we move that economic aid out. In fact, when I got the call from the president about this particular position, it was the honor of a lifetime to accept that call and to accept the nomination. But then about 5 minutes later, I started thinking about, okay, what do I do to make this successful and perhaps the best, most effective, efficient United States Department of Agriculture in history since President Lincoln first launched this department. The aid to the farmers, top priority. Animal disease, top priority. Ensuring that we begin to move toward President Trump's vision. I work for him. I am his cabinet member, but also working alongside all of you. And so many of the conversations that we all had over the last 4 to 6 weeks from both sides of the aisle, from both Republicans and Democrats, were very encouraging to me. I believe that there is an opportunity, while there will be moments of disagreement, I have no doubt, that there will also be many, many moments of agreement. So, Chairman Boozman, my thought is that we get in there, and anyone that knows me and that has worked with me over the course of all these years know that excellence is not only the goal, but the expectation that we move with rapid speed to ensure it gets done, that we work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for our constituents, which is American agriculture, and that at the end of the day, this country and that community is thriving in a way perhaps they never have before because of the work and the foresight and the goals and the vision that I think is so important.
Good. I appreciate you, on several occasions bringing up the disaster assistance. This committee worked in a very bipartisan way to get that done. It was a big effort, and it took a lot of work. And again, we were able to get that done in a very bipartisan way. But that's what we've heard about, from our farmers now is thank you for doing it, but we desperately need it so that we can talk to our bankers and try and figure things out from this last year where most farmers lost a lot of money, their path forward. So again, that I think is music to all of our ears. Trade is vitally important to American agriculture. Our abundant yields and high-quality crops help feed the world. Can you please describe how the President's trade agenda will prioritize the needs of American farmers and ranchers? If our trading partners unfairly target U.S. agriculture producers, how will the administration minimize the impact to our producers?
Thank you, Senator, and I'm actually glad this is at the top of the next few hours because I think it is on the mind of every member of this committee and perhaps every member of the ag community across this great nation. The first thing I think that's important to note is in the last few years, we have almost a $45 billion trade deficit for our ag products. So a key priority will be expanding access to these markets across the country. We've already been sort of vision boarding, not to get ahead of the process, but I want to make sure I'm able to hit the ground running. How it is we begin to immediately effectuate bringing down that $45 billion trade deficit, and it's just up 42% in the last year. There is a deep recognition that corn prices are down 35% just in the last year as well, past 2 years, I'm sorry, and that in fact our farmers are hurting. Regarding the president's tariff agenda, I think it probably comes as no surprise to anyone sitting in this room that he believes it is a very important tool in his toolkit to continue or bring America back to the forefront of the world and to ensure that we have a thriving economy. But just as he did and we did in the first administration, he also understands the potential devastating impact to our farmers and our ranchers. And during that time, I have spoken with Secretary Perdue a few times on how that was managed and to that team, so I fully understand, and that we are prepared to execute something similar if approved, if confirmed, but also working with the White House to ensure that we can close those holes for our farmers and ranchers moving forward under any sort of tariff execution in the next coming days, in the next few years. And that will be a top priority of mine.
Very good. Hunger is an issue that we continue to face. My home state of Arkansas has the highest rate of food insecurity in the nation. At USDA, you will be responsible for leading 16 nutrition programs that assist 1 in 4 Americans. These programs make up the vast majority of the spending at the department. In spite of these programs, which have grown substantially over the last 20 years, the national foods insecurity rate has hovered around 12% since 2001, even during times of economic prosperity. The goal of these programs is to provide temporary assistance to those in need, but the focus on moving families to a place of economic independence has been lost. Will you commit to reviewing these programs to ensure they help incentivize Americans to secure steady employment while still being able to trust that their federal supplemental assistance can be relied on in times of need?
Senator, I so appreciate your concern and focus on this incredibly important program. I think sometimes people on our side of the aisle are framed as those that don't care as much about the kids or those who are hurting or those from disadvantaged communities. I know I have spent my career working to ensure that every corner of America, that everyone has a shot at the American dream, first with Rick Perry, then with my think tank, then with President Trump, then with the AFPI, the America First Policy Group. And so I, too, have a real heart for this work, and I've talked to many of you about that in your offices. That's perhaps driven by being raised in a small town by a single mom, and we didn't have much. Now, we never participated in the nutrition program, but I am fully aware and have a heart for this work and for this community that is easy to make the commitment to ensure that we are doing everything we can, that this supplemental program continues on a course of being effective and efficient. Having said that, it's also imperative to us that every taxpayer dollar that is spent in support of these programs, we fully understand that it is reaching its intended recipient, that recipient is able to use it effectively and efficiently for true nutrition reasons, that we have a real health issue in this country. You all know this. I think 4 out of 5 children are facing obesity or close to it. The level of diabetes and chronic diseases continue to rise. So we together, and myself, if so fortunate to be confirmed, will have a major role in all of the above, ensuring that these programs are serving those who need them and doing it effectively, but also ensuring that the taxpayers are being well served, that the dollar that we take from, my electrician in Fort Worth who has his own small business and then sending it to a family in need, that dollar is being used in the best and most effective way. So that is certainly my commitment to you, Chairman.
Thank you. Senator Klobuchar.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Again, welcome, Ms. Rollins. As we both noted, the chairman and I, this committee has worked together, and all the members know this, on a bipartisan way to pass farm bills in the past, improve the farm safety